In today's video, I'm going to turn Eevee into sneakers. So if you're into that, welcome to my first video. If you're new here, I've basically made it my mission to make every Pokemon in the first generation. I've only uploaded YouTube shorts so far, so I'm not even sure if there are people who'd like to watch a long-form video. But if you're watching here, stay a while, and well, let's chat for a bit. I chose Eevee as my first long-form Pokemon because everyone's asking for this little brown dog. And to be fair, Eevee is one of the more realistic Pokemons out there. It's literally a puppy. Surprisingly, it took some time for me to get the color just right. I'll be mainly using my airbrush to paint sneakers, but from time to time, you'll see me whip up the good old reliable paintbrush. You might be wondering what those white liquids are that I'm adding to my airbrush before painting. Well, those are my duller and thinner. The duller helps tone down the shine, giving the paint a more matte, natural finish. Now, some artists prefer that glossy look, and I totally get it. Certain designs really pop when they shine, but for me, I usually go with a matte finish. I just think it makes the sneakers look more wearable and flow better with your overall outfit. I'd love to know where you're from and what first got you into Pokemon. Drop it down in the comments. What's even cooler is that by commenting now, you can literally say you were one of the first people here when this video dropped, kind of like engraving your name into the early days of this channel. Let's see if we can hit 100,000 before the year ends. That would be so awesome. So right now I'm working on Eevee's highlights. Always remember, paint thin layers only. If you go too thick and try to overpaint, it'll start peeling and can ruin your whole design. Now for the stencil part, I actually just make mine using regular tape. Yep, nothing fancy. With enough practice, you can totally make your own pair too. Let me know in the comments if you'd want me to drop a full tutorial on how I do it. Now that we've got the tape in place and the highlight shapes mapped out, it's time to layer in a deeper shade of brown. Personally, I like to pre-mix all the colors I'll need before I start painting, but honestly, there are no strict rules here. Feel free to mix, blend, and experiment in whatever sequence your creativity takes you. Since I'm mixing a bunch of liquids together, I usually have to manually stir them really well. If you skip that part, you'll end up with uneven consistency. And that's when those random splotches start showing up on your sneakers. I like to use my heat gun after every thin layer of paint. It helps speed up the drying process. If you don't have one though, no worries. You can totally use your mom's hairdryer. Back when I first started, I just used my trusty electric fan. To make sure the color really sticks, I usually apply about 4 to 5 thin coats. It's all about patience. Just keep repeating the same process until you're happy with how rich and solid the color looks. With my trusty tape ready, it's time to create some new patterns. To shape them, I'll use a pencil and my X-Acto knife. Now here's the tricky part. You have to be really careful. If you press too hard, you might accidentally slice into the shoe's leather, which honestly, I used to do all the time when I was just starting out. So now I only apply just enough pressure to cleanly cut through the tape without damaging the leather underneath. We'll only be covering the areas where I want to add the new patterns, mainly around the toe and heel sections. I also taped over the lace guard since I want to keep its original color. This way we can control exactly where the design goes and keep everything clean and intentional. Once we've covered all the areas we need, it's time to paint the shoe again, this time using an even darker shade of brown. It might not look like much right now, but trust me, it'll all make sense once we start peeling off the tape later. I'm about to make another stencil, so I'm hopping onto my computer to have my Cricut cut it out for me. This time though, I won't be using tape. And just so you know, I do make a concept design before diving in. I decided to put Eevee's face right on the toe box. The idea actually came from the Gengar pair. That design really blew up, and it was the first short I ever uploaded. You guys went crazy for it, but Eevee's a bit different. It's one of those Pokemon that just works with a front-facing design. Gengar looks fierce and intense, while Eevee's just irresistibly cute. You can't look at that face and tell me that this is a bad idea. Since we're focusing on painting just Eevee's face, I'm covering up the rest of the toe area. That way, I can paint freely without worrying about hitting parts I don't want to. And yeah, this does mean I go through a lot of tape just to finish one shoe. After painting the outline in black, I'll remove Eevee's eye stencil so I can fill it in with white. Since it's just a small area, using a paintbrush is way more efficient than an airbrush. And once that's done, just wait till I peel off all the tape. That's when the magic really happens. Eevee's face really starts coming to life right before your eyes. I'll just keep working on the finer details of the eyes using my paintbrush. I actually prepared a separate sheet of leather with Eevee's ears already cut out. I've been debating whether to turn them into a separate leather piece. I mean, not everyone would probably want to walk around with Eevee's ears sticking out of their shoes, though honestly, I think it's kind of cool. Since this pair is meant to be a showpiece anyway, I figured why not go a little extra? After making sure the ears fit perfectly on the leather, I went ahead and prepped them for painting. Even though I'd consider this more of an accessory piece, I'm still mixing in a bit of duller and thinner, just to make sure the paint sticks properly and stays smooth. We want the color of the ears to stay consistent with Eevee's body, so using the pre-mixed paint from earlier, I'll lay down about 3 to 4 base coats. Once I'm happy with the coverage, we'll move on to adding the stenciled ear details I prepared earlier. While you're watching me work on this part, tell me, what's your go-to snack to make at home? This video might look short, but it actually took around 10 hours just to finish one shoe. Yep, not even the whole pair yet. So I do get pretty hungry in between. I'd love to try out some of your snack ideas while I paint, and maybe even rate them in the next video. I'm pretty happy with how our ears are looking, so we'll cut them out and paint its black outline. After peeling off the tape, it still looks kind of plain, which is normal at this stage. That's why I like to go in and hand paint the details myself. Now let's move on to the swoosh. I usually save this part for the end, but as you can see, there's a bit of light paint that got on it. So first we'll clean that up with some acetone. I could just paint over it, since we're using a darker color anyway, but that would make the layer too thick. It's always better to start with a clean slate. It's time to add my signature concept onto the swoosh and finish everything up before the reveal. To finish one pair, it usually takes me about 2 full days of painting, but when you include the time I spend designing, it becomes a solid 3-day project. It might not sound like much now, but trust me, I've been doing this for about 3 years. Back then it took me almost 2 weeks just to barely finish a single pair. Anyway, I really want to hear your honest thoughts about my Eevee concept. Did I do Eevee justice, or does the design feel a bit too simple for such a hyped Pokemon? Maybe I even went a little overboard? Be real with me. Rate it from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest.